Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol.
And welcome to Season 2 of Cycle Sunday.
Yay! Can you believe we are back after a very, very long wait? We started this project back in January. We fitted me for this bike.
Yes.
We ordered all the bits.
Yes.
We planned to build the bike in early March.
We did.
And we got all the bits finally about 2 weeks ago.
We did, absolutely.
So we delayed Season 2 of Cycle Sunday, but over the next 7 weeks, we're going to run up all the way to Christmas. We've got some amazing content, but we couldn't not start with the building of my dream bike. We've laid it out all in front of us, and seriously, mate, my levels of excitement are very, very high.
It's been quite funny because Pete taking every single item out of each box and
Cooing. Yes, that's the
cooing.
polite word. We can say cooing.
Cooing.
So we've got it all laid out in front of us. We've got your super technician. He's just stood off camera. We shall introduce you in a moment.
We shall.
But yeah, we're going to watch the build, and then once it's built, talk you through the bike. And then over the course of this series of Cycle Sunday, we're going to take this bike out for its first ride tomorrow, hopefully. I'm so excited about that. But other things coming up, I happen to have bought an e-mountain bike.
You have?
Which is in the other room.
Yep.
So we're going to show you that. And even though I actually haven't ridden it yet, we're already going to upgrade it. We've got stuff around Mrs. Petrolped's e-bike.
Yeah.
We've got a trip to the Cotswolds on an Arcadex. You delivered a bike down to my house. There's loads of stuff coming, but let's get cracking with building this.
Perfect. Let's get on.
Let's do it. So what's happening behind me is Steve, who's one of the technicians here at Criterium Cycles, is basically having a chat with Paul, and the first thing they're doing is taking all the measurements that were taken when I had my bike fit way back in January. And we basically set the bike up on the fit jig, but then we've got all the measurements to set things like the saddle height, and the most important thing is the steerer tube length, because that's actually got to be cut. It's a carbon fiber fork, and that is a one-shot wonder. So there's a lot of things that can only be done once. And then Steve will start putting the bike together, and we can follow the process and maybe get him on camera and talk about what's happening. But it's super, super exciting. But the first thing is planning. We've laid everything out. We've got all the components. It took a while for everything to filter through. It was the group set really that we were waiting for. But as we've talked about on the podcast quite a few times, there's this kind of supply problem in, well, it's not just the bike industry, but we've been particularly hit by it on this project, just getting all of the components that we need. But we've got them all now, and we're going to start to build the bike. So let's have a look at what these guys are going to be doing, because I think it's going to be quite special. Now that we're about half an hour into the build and things are taking shape, the seat tube is in and the forks and steerer and handlebars, and just check out these handlebars. But the critical thing that's about to happen now is Steve's going to basically cut off the top part of the steerer tube. It's all been measured according to the measurements that were on the fit jig, but this is a one shot. This is a one piece carbon fork. It's an incredibly expensive component. So all the measurements have been done, but now we're going to take a hacksaw to the top of the steerer tube. But I'm very excited because it's starting to look like a bike finally. Now, that's a relief. The really tricky bit, and actually the bit I was wondering how it was done, is threading all the internal cables through inside the frame. And it's just taken about, well, longer than wanted. About 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, to get that cable through this bottom bit of the frame. And it was touch and go for a moment.
It wasn't too bad.
You were going to cut it and kind of, stick the frame back together.
The frame,
yeah. But it's all good now. So now, well, I'll leave you to it. Now, you may have seen an integrated bar system actually on a bike, but you probably haven't seen it half installed. And I can't admit to knowing exactly what all of these different wires do, but they kind of all start at this end and then they've been fed through the bar. So some of them come out that end, some come out that end, the power cable comes out here. These are all the hydraulic hoses. This is proper fiddly stuff, but when it's all finished, you won't see any of these wires at all. They're all completely integrated within the bars and within the headset, and all the other wires in the bike are inside the frame. So they're completely invisible, but check that out. This is proper complicated stuff. I now understand when we were doing the bike fit and Paul said, look, if we get the measurement of the height of the handlebars wrong and you need to take it off and kind of readjust it and put it back on again, it's quite a long job. I now understand why. Things have progressed significantly. So handlebars are on and all the cables hidden away. The hoods are on, and again, everything. It's just an incredible piece of work. It's taken a very long time. We've got the bottom bracket in, the cranks are on, and everyone is basically cooing at the stunning carbon fibre work here. It's just a work of art. It is beautiful. And we've also got the wheels with the rotors on and also the cassette, so they're ready to go. So one of the things I wanted to show you, now if you've been listening to the podcast, the big thing we've been kind of delayed by is the delivery of the entire group set. And right at the get-go, Paul said, we'll probably be held up by the 2 bolts that hold on the rear brake caliper. Well, here are the 2 bolts that hold on the rear brake caliper. So that's what's basically delayed us, because that was the last bit to arrive, and we couldn't do the bike build until we had absolutely everything. So we now have everything. So I now need to kind of get out of the way and let Steve do the next thing, which is basically putting the brake calipers on, connecting the hydraulic hoses, and then they need bleeding, just like you would bleed brakes in a car. And then the other big thing is the electronic gear shifting mechanism needs calibrating and setting up. So there's still an awful lot of work to do, and we've been at this like most of the day, but it's coming together and it just looks sensational. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. When we started this project all the way back in January, when I first came to your old shop and got fitted, and we started to talk about the spec of this bike, I knew it was going to be really special. The process at the beginning, the fit, the selection of everything, talking through everything in the podcast and all the episodes was special. However, the last 2 days have been unbelievable watching this bike being built. And it is a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, come on. I am actually, on a serious note, when the bike was finished and I kind of threw my leg over and sat on it, it's very, very emotional.
Yeah.
And kind of just seeing it being put together over the last couple of days has been amazing. We thought we'd have a quick run through, and then we were going to try and do a first ride. Unfortunately, time ran out on us and it got dark outside.
Yep.
So I haven't been able to do that. But so here we have a Bianchi Oltre XR4 with Campagnolo WTO wheels.
Yes, in the 45mm deep section.
Yeah.
Set up tubeless with Michelin power roads in a 28mm. We've got full Campagnolo Super Record EPS, which is the electronic transmission, which we've also, through the My Campy app, has set this up in full sequential mode as well.
So you'll have seen that in the B-roll. I have an app on my phone that connects to the group set on this bike, and I can basically do a whole bunch of setup. The first thing that blew me away, when we plugged it needed to do a firmware upgrade. So I've upgraded the firmware on that through my app, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it has sequential mode.
Yes.
So on my current electronic shifting bike, I shift up the front shifter with one hand and the rear shifter with the other hand in steps.
Yes.
On this one, I just use that shifter and go up, and it changes the rear and front derailleur independently of one another to step up through the next appropriate ratios.
Yes, yes.
So I might click the button once and actually the front changer and the rear changer will move.
Yes, yes.
That's just ridiculous.
I know, it's great. All the group sets now do it. So Shimano Di2 now does it. SRAM Axis also does it. But it was just great to set that sequential mode up and just see your face for the first time as it automatically stepped up those ratios. Basically, it's just one hand shifting.
Yeah. So, two last important bits of information.
Yes.
That everybody will want to know. We've weighed it.
We have.
And we all had a bit of a book running, and it's come in at 8.15 kilos.
Yes. Now, bearing in mind, that's including pedals, it's including bottle cages, it's including the Garmin mount, and this is a 61 centimetre frame size. You'll have to always bear in mind that a lot of manufacturers will weigh their bikes, usually with a medium or maybe a 56 centimetre frame size.
It's a big frame.
This is basically the largest frame that they do, and it's still coming in at 8.15 kilos. But weight is only one thing. That is incredibly light. This is a full aero bike, so you've got the aerodynamic efficiencies, plus the fact that it is super stiff laterally, so the power output is very instant and very responsive. And add to that, you've got your countervail carbon fibre that's going to eliminate a ton of that vibration that is really fatiguing. Can't wait to hear your
I can't wait to ride it. I can't wait to ride it. The last number is maybe the distasteful number that we haven't really talked about at all, that everyone's going to want to know.
Yes.
Aren't they? You know what I'm talking about?
I do. It's vulgar.
It is vulgar. However, I know lots of people will want to know.
Yes.
How much is this build? £1 million.
£1 million. No, so in fairness, we've only priced this up from when we first ordered it.
Yes.
And that was coming in around £13,000.
Yes.
There have been price increases since.
Oh no, really?
So I think what we'll do is we'll
leave it at that.
Reprice it.
Where's my wallet? Yeah, I mean, this is, when we set out with this project, we said we're going to go silly. We're going to put the best of everything on it, and we have done that. We have spared no expense.
No.
And we wanted to do that to kind of go through that whole process. And we've talked a lot about, you don't have to spend this kind of money. And this is way too much bike for me. And I've got no excuses now when I do my next sportif.
No.
But at that, I think we should draw this particular video to a close.
Yeah.
It's amazing to finally get it built, but we've got plenty more stuff coming in this season of Cycles Sunday, so make sure you tune in next week.
Yeah.
But from Criterium Cycles for now, make sure you like, share and subscribe. Paul, what a project.
Fantastic.
What a project. I also want to thank the main man himself who built this bike. Steve, you are a legend, sir. The detail, the care and love and attention that's gone into the build of this bike has been something to witness. It really, really has.
Yes.
And I also want to thank massively Dan, who is behind the roving camera. He's been amazing as well.
Yes.
So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. It's finally been built. Let's go back to the South Downs and give it a ride, shall we? But for now, ride safe.
Ride safe, everybody.